Welcome to Linear Light podcast section. Visit our website linearlight.com.
Lighting Talk with Waleed Fakousa. Retail, the connection between light and materials.
Welcome back to our podcast section. In this episode, we will talk about lighting retail. Our guest today has been working as lighting designer in Europe and the Middle East for over 10 years. He is the head of CD+M Architectural Lighting Design Studio in Dubai and the managing director of the Lighting Institute. We are delighted to welcome Waleed Fakousa.
Hello, and thank you for the introduction and inviting me to this exciting podcast. And hi to everybody listening in from around the world.
Let's start with a trivial but always interesting question. Can light influence sales?
Certainly, light has major impact on sales. It starts by attracting people into stores through well-lit display windows. Then it can draw their gaze to certain products using the proper contrast and potentially sparkle. But most importantly, when merchandise materials, physical form, and how they react to specific color spectrum are studied really well, I think lighting can display these products in their best possible appearance, which obviously would influence customer choices.
Nowadays, the lighting designer has a very powerful tool at his disposal, the LED. What is its potential?
LEDs now have great potentials, not only to display products really well, but to push the boundary and enhance their appearance beyond reality. With more extensive data available nowadays about the color composition of LEDs, take for example TM30 standards, where one can see the chip's color rendering quality across 99 colors. The specifiers can nowadays just configure the LED's exact composition to suit best their needs. For instance, the LEDs used to illuminate food. The designer would select a chip with more reds in its spectrum when illuminating meat, more yellow and orange for bread or cheese, and blues when it comes to fish products.
From what you are saying, I can tell that there is a strong correlation between light and material. Is this correct?
In my opinion, lighting should always be selected after carefully studying the materials used in the space. Take for example a high-end store in the likes of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Prada, etc. Despite that all of these stores fall under similar category as a high-end retail, yet each one of them has its own character, material palette, color scheme. The selection of lighting in any of these stores should ensure displaying the color, materials, and the textures of the merchandise at their best. And that's why these organizations spend significant amount of effort, time, and research to select the exact LEDs that suits best their product's display. As for the mid-range stores, the principle would really still apply. The light quality should always correspond to the materials used in the space. However, from my personal experience in these kind of stores, the selection of products and the illumination of the stores in general should correspond to the expected price tag. A designer should not always be looking for a luxury lighting scheme for a mid-range merchandise, as this might give the impression that the products are expensive, which in turn would affect sales.
An essential part of a shop is the showcase. What are the tricks to best illuminate it?
Showcase lighting is a very tricky business. Not only it relies on a designer with a wealth of experience and knowledge, but also close coordination with many disciplines. Whether you're illuminating a showcase in a retail store or a museum, I believe the same principles apply. Off the top of my head, there are a few questions to be asked before considering the best lighting approach. Firstly would be the object in display. What is it? Is it jewelry, accessory, sensitive materials? What's their size, color? Then comes the question about the showcase itself. Is it fixed, movable, fully or partially glazed? And if it is glazed, from which side? All sides? Top only? Front only? Then we talk about the viewing angles. Is it meant to be looked at from the front, all around, top only? Once we register all this data, then we are in a better position to select the right approach for illumination.
Are there some tips you would like to share with us?
Few tips I would like to share with the new designers listening in would be when it comes to lighting showcases from outside. Number one would be glass displays can act as a mirror box, so careful positioning of external light sources is crucial. Secondly will be casting shadows. We tend to stand close by showcases to see what's in them, and if we stand in the way of light, there's a great chance we would cast our own shadows on the displayed items. When it comes to internal illumination, one should consider the following. Given the fact it's typically a tight space, make sure that the showcase is very well lit in all three dimensions. Also, you should avoid lighting from behind if the displayed objects are solid, since they will simply appear in silhouette, unless you complement the backlighting with front illumination. I also find glass and reflective objects in general displayed really well with backlit surfaces. whether from behind, below, or even the top. Also, one needs to coordinate very closely with the showcase fabricators to ensure the proper integration of lighting, access for maintenance, cable routes, etc. Finally, I would stress the importance of a percentage of front illumination. If lighting comes only from above, make sure that the front side of the objects in display are lit as intended. A common mistake I see is that the lighting is positioned straight above the merchandise, which would cast harsh shadows and doesn't display the object as well as they should be.
Thank you very much for your intervention. It was a real pleasure to have you here as a guest.
Thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to the next episodes. Have a lovely day. Bye now.
Thank you for joining us. Discover more on our website linearlight.com.